We'll get some people here. So, here, Vincent, you take the phone for now and explain it. I'll be right back. I'm going to put my key figures away, otherwise I'll lose them and I'll be angry. Explain what you're doing.
Okay. Hello. We're here in the main hub room, and I am reorganizing all the dies. So, initially, when we got the initial company, which is these 4 cabinets here, which is Parisi Tool, we didn't think we were going to get any more than that. And so then, when we put the dies up, we just began sorting them by category. Which is why all of these exist. And so, you know, we sort them by like Art Nouveau, Art Deco, Celestial, Bezel, and all that. And we have grown large enough now that we've decided to switch our organization system so that all of the dies that go with each company are in its own container. And this is going to be a very long process. I've been at this for about half an hour, and I'm almost done with the first drawer.
Actually, that's kind of amazing. So yeah, we're trying to repatriate all the hubs because I don't want them to be separated from their original collection. I think Vincent's probably telling you this. Yeah, but this is going to create an absolute nightmare. We thought it was hard to find dies before. Oh yeah, we're taking it to a new level. This is going to be impossible. But we just can't let all this stuff be mixed together in one big mess. It would be wrong. There's too much history. So we're going to keep them in the collections that we got them. And like I know a lot of this. Like this stuff here. This looks very much like a French die because of the shape, but these are actually from Alling & Company. And they came out of, Alling & Company went out of business in 1904, and they were absorbed by Larder. And when Larder closed, we ended up getting all of Alling's stuff as well.
And would you like to see a live repatriation here?
So we're going to try to put Alling & Company all in the same group. Alling & Company is you guys love Alling & Company. They're the ones who made all these amazing dragons and just the beautiful stuff. If you Google them, Alling & Co. on Google and type in images, you'll see all their amazing jewelry. They're one of my favorites. They made amazing stuff. So what we're going to do, we're going to get all the categories. So we'll keep Alling with Larder, but we're going to have a subcategory of Alling & Company. And we're going to try to get all this stuff back where it came from while I'm still alive.
So this is
I can recognize 90% of it.
Yeah.
Just because I know the style.
At the end of the day, some guesswork is going to have to happen, which is unfortunate.
Like you look at this. I know this is German. This is from Forsheim. This stuff here, you can tell because the German stuff is...
It has all
so
of these...
perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect, and it has all of these angles here.
Yeah.
That just flow in.
And everything, like they made a
And it's all very nicely surface ground. And
the exact same height.
Oh, yeah.
They're spectacular. These guys were badass. Their designs are only okay. But their craftsmanship, again, spectacular.
But then there's stuff like, what do you think? You think Larder and Sons?
No, that's Parisi.
Okay, yeah. I gotta start
Parisi.
remembering that all
so
of
the stuff that came out of Providence, it wasn't, a lot of the stuff wasn't...
Very ramshackle.
The designs are powerful and they're fantastic, but the hub is always a little bit, random. Not as much time was spent getting the... they focused more on the die. The hub was just a means to an end. Because they only used the hub one time. It was disposable. So we're hoping. That's Larder.
Are you sure it's not Whiting and Davis? No, it's Foster and Bailey.
Really? Oh, it's FB.
Yep. When Amber pulled it, she marked it. And then,
Oh, good. Yeah, you can see our problem.
yeah.
So. This is going to be epic, and it's going to be bad.
So, hang on, let me put it in here with Foster and Bailey.
This is Foster and Bailey.
Yep.
So we'll leave all our working hubs in here that we made.
We have a separate category for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, KP.
Well, leave them in. We'll figure it out. I think. Like, look at this. Oh, I know what this is. This came out of Waltham, Massachusetts. They were pocket watch cases. I got a set of 4 of them. And I got them all at once from a collector. And yeah, these are sweet. So we'll have to...
And those aren't from any main company. That's Alling & Co.
Yeah, it's Alling. This is Larder.
No, that's
Larder.
Flip it over. Okay.
It's
yeah,
Larder.
you're right.
I know where that came from. This is this one here. That is Czechoslovakia.
Oh yeah, do we have a...
We have a whole drawer full of them. We've kept them together, amazingly, which was really nice. That's Silveri.
Yep.
This is Larder. This came in with Larder. I remember her because it's one of my favorites. Yeah, this is going to be a challenge, but if we don't do it now, I think we're going to be in trouble. I don't want to be the guy who mixed up 150 years of jewelry history. Oh, see, here's another one of those. And this is ridiculous the way they're getting stacked in here. This is wrong. So look at this. This is another one of those cases. Pocket watch cases. These are gorgeous. So we will start the repatriation today. And we apologize for any difficulties that are going to ensue as far as finding where it came from. Or finding, like when someone says they want a horse, yeah, that's going to be a challenge. But I think it's more important that we keep these together, like we keep the companies together. What do you guys think? Anybody agree? Because it's gotten too out of hand. Plus,
Steve Adams thinks it's cool.
Yeah, I don't want these things to be mixed up. I don't want the people who made them to be forgotten. It's too important. Yeah. This is... I don't even know what category this is.
Bezel.
Bezels. Yeah. Well, we just thought we'd give you a heads up. Check this out. Like, here's a tip for a belt. I got this out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Came in with a bunch of saddle stuff. We've been combing the universe for hubs and dies.
Another Bruning.
Yep. It's amazing how fast they get mixed up. Amazing. So we're gonna keep we're gonna keep it all separated. It's just what's gonna happen. Anyway, do you show them all
Says
different categories?
Said we would all love to see the history and company in the listings so that we can keep that info with the dies we buy.
That's exactly what's happening. We're gonna put more historical information of every collection up on the website with the die. So we'll be able to track it better, and you'll be able to see exactly where it came from, the time period it was made. If we have information on who made it, absolutely we will put it down. Vincent actually, for Alling & Company, you actually went to the records in New Jersey to get the, remember you were trying to get the...
oh yeah, the book.
The book.
Yes.
Well, not just the book, but there was it had their payroll.
Yes.
It had the whole payroll of the company.
Right.
And it's in their historic records, and we're trying to get a copy of it so that we can, hopefully it would tell us who the hub carvers were, who the die makers were, who the goldsmiths were, so we can have at least you can put a name. And then if you find the name, because like we've actually done, Vincent's tracked down people, because there was a letter that came in one of his toolboxes, and he actually tracked down the guy who wrote the letter, the family, everything, all the way back. And it was written in the early 1900s. And he found exactly where the guy lived, right down to his house. It was kind of nuts. But we'll be able to track these people down and know all the history of these pieces. And I think that would be really exciting to see it. And so we're going to work towards that. Initially, when we started this, I knew the companies, but it didn't seem important to categorize by company. It was more important just to put them by, we're going to put the stars in one drawer and the suns in one drawer and the moons in a drawer. And now that's not good. It's going to be all back to original. So we've kept Whiting and Davis all together. This is all Whiting and Davis. We've kept Larder all together. We've kept Van Cranus. Or at least this is the stuff we got out of San Francisco. So
yeah,
some
this
of
is
it
Van Cranus. This is Michael Ilsa.
No, this isn't Michael Ilsa. This is Van Cranus. Michael Ilsa is the drawers below.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah. I made it a point to put these. You were with me when we got these.
Right.
But you can see the problem, how mixed up it gets. So this is Michael Ilsa. This is all out of Helsinki, Finland. The rest of this cabinet is all rings. And then our exploding collection. Oh, this is I don't remember their name, but we'll get it. They just closed. But the ever-expanding collection of Silveri. They produced hubs on a massive scale.
Yeah,
Absolutely massive. I mean,
like that entire cabinet is bursting. Like there is no space in it, and it's bled over into here. Yeah. And then all the Silveri stuff that's in those cabinets.
Right. It's ridiculous. We've drawn the line. Normally, I haven't said normally I don't turn down a die or a hub, but yeah, I'm done. I think we've covered that genre sufficiently that there's no, we're not missing anything in 1982 earrings. We have sufficiently covered it.
Can you label the dies themselves with the company and then group them by kind? That's like
that was a hotly debated topic.
That's like hopefully the end goal, but you need to push and shove before you can finally tune.
Yeah, I want to see them buy a company, because then you can look at the work of that whole company. Their history is all intact. It's, as far as convenience, the other way is the preferred way. But as far as keeping history together, it's sort of like going into a video rental place and you have all your directors. It's categorized by director. So you got all your John Hughes movies. You've got all your Disney. So that's what we're doing.
It says maybe quarterly dies can be by company without worrying about style or motif.
I don't know. I'm not an organized person, but it bothered me to no end to have this stuff spread to the wind. I was beginning to feel like, I was doing a big disservice to the jewelry world. I don't want to be that guy who got all the history and then just, mixed it all up. That would be very wrong. And we're reaching a point where it won't be able to be untangled anymore. So we are all about untangling this mess. Yeah. So. Yep. Anyway, guys. Probably don't want to look at me here. Look at that. Hubs. But you can see that we're getting too many for these drawers. Like, this is Bowcraft. Isn't that cool? Made a bracelet. This stuff is so fun. I just love it.
You need a librarian.
Yeah, we do. We absolutely do. Absolutely.
All these dogs came from Guatemala.
No, that's from France. That's
Oh.
the copy I made of the French one. Because he was broken.
How about a fiber laser setup that marks each die with the company?
Yeah, we have
I got a
that.
Sharpie.
we have the fiber laser. The problem is there's over 1 million hubs. So it would take the rest of our lives to do that. It would have been possible had we started, 10 years ago. But at the rate we're growing, I've got another 50,000 coming with any luck. So an additional 50,000 is that's a lot. That'll make add to our confusion. But yeah. But I want to keep them all separated by their company, so it tells a better story.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that Whiting and Davis, this is what spurred that on, was when we got Whiting and Davis as a full unit. This is their life's work. This is the entire life's work of Whiting and Davis. This is their entire line. And it's in these we got 2 cabinets like this. And this is everything they made. And you can see the history of the company. And that's what's important, really. These have never even been opened. These are brand new hubs. Never been taken out. I don't have the heart to do it. They're still wrapped up. So, yeah. Dress clips. Compact cases. These are the button hooks for boots. For hooking boots. When boots had buttons. God, it's getting jammed in here. Buckles. Buster Brown shoes. Match safes. And you can see what's really neat. You can see where they went. From the early 1900s, turn of the century, all the way up through the 60s. Where they went. And it's really cool to see it. Yeah. And that's more important. And I don't, this came in with them. If anyone knows what this is.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. If anyone has ever seen this, I have no idea what that is or why it was made. But
these are great.
Yeah. This came in with it. And it's like, who knows why?
Where is the Potter Die addiction meeting this week? We acknowledge the problem, don't want to change, just be with other addicted people.
Oh yeah, we're all here. We're all here for you. So I've got to get more space so that we can lay these out better, because it's just, I've really packed them in here as best we could. But I don't like them laying on top of each other. When we get them, a lot of them are really rusty, so we end up going through, because they came from back east, so I end up going through here and picking out rusty ones and cleaning everything. Look at this. So this is the top of a purse, and it had chain mail that hung down like a little bag, and this was the top, and it flipped open like with a little catch, and it had a little finial on top. And
wow.
Yeah, this is from the early 1900s, and this was hand cut, all hand engraved. It's just really amazing that it's still here after all these years. Yeah, what's really cool is this is all of their these are test strikes. These are lead test strikes into their dies of samples from striking. Here's a sample of a handbag. Top of a handbag.
Wouldn't a company like Whiting and Davis have documentation that could be mapped into a spreadsheet? Yeah, that was probably thrown into a garbage can sometime about 1977.
Yeah, it was tossed. They chucked everything. We even have their mesh machines. They got rid of it all. This is a soldering fixture. Just a simple little piece like this. This is a soldering fixture. It held pieces in position. So I try to save all this stuff, and if everything gets mixed up, there won't be anything left to tell the story. Take a look at this. So this is the beginnings of a hub, and the way they did it, they used acid to etch in the pattern, and then they would do all the handwork. It's almost like a photo engraving. I've seen some of the rooms. They were all covered in tile, and they used a lot of really strong nitric acids, and yeah. But I've never seen the full process in person. I don't know if anyone still does it, but this is half finished. It's really cool. These are my favorite things to see, where we've learned so much by looking at things that were partially finished.
What about using a fiber laser for removing the rust from the dies? That no,
I don't know. We soak them in Evapor-Rust.
Yeah, Evapor-Rust
works really well.
Yeah,
and then we clean them all by hand.
Sits in a tote for overnight, and then
I can soak hundreds at a time, and that's Here's another. Look at this massive hub for another one of those. Almost like I forget what they called it, but they made these handbags. What's really neat is you can see how it was machined. The background was done on a planer. Almost looks like they soldered.
I know, right? I'm trying to figure out what.
I think they soldered. I think they turned this on a lathe, cut it in half, put this heavy pattern on it, and soldered it.
Oh, you're right.
I'll bet they soldered this on and then drove it.
That's
because
wild.
This would be a difficult shape to make unless you had a CNC machine nowadays. But back then, they would have turned it on a lathe, cut it in half, put it on a block.
Wow.
That's how they did it. And that's why this thing's serrated like that, to hold the solder in place. And then they drove it. Very interesting. These guys were brilliant. Really brilliant. Here's another one. I wonder if this one is... This one was cut from it. From the die. Literally out of the block. So that would have been difficult. Very, very difficult. Back then. Interesting. You can see all the handwork. All the hand filing and stoning to get there. Very cool. Here's another one. This one hadn't been engraved yet. This thing's still soft. Very cool. They used a radius cutting attachment on a lathe to cut that radius. Here's another one. These are all just little parts and pieces. But they tell the story of the company and how things were made. Because not everything you get is going to be these beautiful, amazing floral hubs. You end up with a lot of things that are just the intermediate steps to getting there. You know? And these are all...
Kevin, you can engrave that one.
Yeah. These are all just little clasps. And it's interesting, notice these things? Don't they look very familiar? They look almost like German. And I'm betting they had a German hub carver from Germany. They'll look very similar. I know these came from this company. Grab a German hub. So you can tell. Look at that. The angles, the way they ground them and finished them, they're very German.
You can also see that with a lot of stuff from...
And notice, look at that, the heights are identical. The German stuff, they always made the heights of the hubs the same. The Italian stuff, it's all over the place. It's all over the place. Everything's different. But when you look in the drawer at the German stuff, it's all the same across the board. And as far as height go, Yeah, so I bet you they had a German hub carver who did a bunch of this. Look at all these. You can tell he probably was the same guy who made all of these. And then you can see, as you go through time, you'll notice the change in the way the hub was made. And it would have been, you know, new hub carvers or his apprentices that worked under him. You know, they take on their own little take on things. Yeah.
That's a force, but it's more recent.
Yeah, it's fairly recent. Yeah, you can see this was cut with a, they had a vertical milling machine at this time, and it was set up for like a drop hammer, probably a pneumatic drop hammer. So this is probably 1940s. Probably just after the war, 1950s. And let's go up a drawer. I'd like to organize the Whiting and Davis stuff even by era. So this is Victorian stuff. So look at these. These almost look French with the shapes, because this is back when you couldn't just buy a block of steel. So this is pre-1900s stuff. So this is, most of the stuff in this drawer is all very early. And they engraved it afterwards. Look at this. God, this looks German, doesn't it? It's got a collar on it, but look at the angles of that. It's amazing. It's amazing. Take a look at this stuff over here from Larder. Larder and Son, their stuff looks like it came out of Pforzheim, Germany. It's all their heights are the same. The way the hub is made, and they're super clean. They're not at all like some of the others. These are really, they spent a ton of time finishing all these.
What I've found is that there's as far as striking rings with dies, there seems to be an American way and a broadly European way.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look in the Janvier
drawers,
the ring dies
French
are completely
method
different.
is crazy. I mean, I think they
Here's
like
one.
it.
Yeah, this is more of a European style.
Yeah, yeah. So they were doing this. This probably doesn't belong in here. This is definitely not in the right drawer.
Well,
no,
no.
No, this is French. That's French.
Okay.
For sure. But yeah, all the Larder stuff. It's easy for us to find it because it's all numbered, and we have all the card catalog, and we have their sample drawer. So I have a sample of everything they ever made, and I have a record of it. So it's easy for us to spot it. And they took a lot of time. I mean, look at, they engraved numbers into everything, and they're beautifully engraved. It's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Some of their designs are spectacular. They really made a ton of men's rings.
That's a start for the librarian you'll hire.
Yes. Yes. Let's dig. These are all Larder and Son rings. This here, this is the Mums collection. So we got, these are made for Tiffany by Paulding Farnham, I believe, a designer for Tiffany. And these are all, there's a whole line of flower rings, and it's called the Mums collection. And yeah, we have the whole collection.
How do you spell that?
Mums?
Yeah.
M-U-M-S, I believe. Yeah. That's Alling and Company. Very cool, very classic piece. You guys have a bunch of these, I'm sure. Anybody watching our shenanigans here?
25.
Oh, wow. 25 people get that. Rat through the drawers. It's kind of fun looking through them. So this is Alling and Company. And this is interesting. Look at it. It's very German again. The angles, but this came in with this collection. And the way it's heat treated. So I'm betting that that Alling and Company had some German hub carvers from Forsheim.
Danny says Larder and Sons was from California.
No.
No, their main factory is in
Was
New
in
Jersey.
New York City.
Well,
They
yeah.
started in New York City in Manhattan, and then they moved to Newark in the 1980s when Manhattan real estate went crazy. And then they closed in 2015. Yeah. So this is all, a lot of this is larder. We need to go through it. Like there's tiny rings. Still need to get them cleaned up better. It gets difficult. We've been better about getting things cleaned. Once all the stuff, what I do now, because now I have helpers. When we started, we didn't have helpers. Oh, that's a good one. I got to put that one with the others. We have the 3 Graces.
Oh, yeah.
What we do now, if you show them the Foster and Bailey, I completely clean every single
Okay,
hub.
so this is Foster and Bailey?
No,
No?
this is another company. We've got to find out who it is. But it's Victorian. It's early. Yeah, but we completely take everything down. And it's not patina, it's rust. So I cleaned every single hub in here. So we make sure, because when we get all these, they're nasty. Because they've just got surface rust on them. Or grease. If we're lucky, they're covered in grease. But a lot of times, they're just covered in rust. So we completely scour them to basically prevent further degradation. Yeah. But it takes, like I work on it every day for a couple hours. I have piles of them, and I just start cleaning. And I go through them every day. That's kind of how I have a memory for what we have. Because I remember cleaning it. Yeah. Look at these old cases. What's in these, Vincent?
Don't actually remember.
We try to keep things when they come in these little cases.
Oh, yeah, the alphabet.
The alphabet. So this is set up for diamonds.
After you clean them all, what do you put on them to prevent more rust?
I spray them with Bow Shield.
And then Arizona just kind of helps.
Yeah, having pretty much 0% humidity will pretty much preserve it all. So take a look at these. These are really cool. It's an entire alphabet, all kept together in this little tin. It looks like it's some sort of old antique first aid kit.
It's called Bow Shield.
Yep.
It says, Kevin, you need to start writing all this down. We have a lot of stuff written down here.
Yeah. What's this set? Oh, look at this set. More diamond letters. These are beautiful. I love this stuff. I wonder if I have the whole alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, O, no L, M, N, O, no P, Q, R.
There's S.
Yeah. Nah, I think that's the S over here.
Oh.
Let's see. Yeah, we're missing a few. The bane of my existence.
U, V, Y.
Yep. Yep.
Tragic.
Yeah. They're always missing letters. So that's why we don't put them up. Because it seems to bother people to no end to have an alphabet set with missing letters. I've got some amazing ones, but the chance of having somebody with a letter Z is pretty slim, or a V. I don't know.
Hey.
Sometimes all we have is this. It's just a force that was hot struck from. So that's the only record left of that in existence.
Used once.
Used once. Yeah. So we try to save all of it so that there's at least a. Look at this one. So this is interesting. This looks. I know this is Foster and Bailey, but look at it. The shape again. Very German, very level, very clean and sharp. It's interesting. Very interesting.
Got some people saying they wouldn't mind having missing letters.
They say that. You guys all say that. Every time I've offered up alphabet sets that are missing letters, I get a little piece of my soul is eroded with the complaining. I'd buy it if you had that letter. Yeah. And then if I go ahead and make the letter, they're like, but you made the letter. I want the original letter. So, no. Yeah. There was a bunch of these. It's a force. There are some of them. These are kind of interesting. It's got like a little lighthouse on it.
Right, there's a couple of those that are like very light engravings.
Very light engravings. Yeah.
There's one with like a bird in a cage.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. But this is why we're going to try to get things sorted by category within the collections. Like, look at this bizarre thing.
Terrifying.
Yeah. Don't know.
Can you explain the force used once? How does that work? Well, when I say it's used once, it's not just struck once.
Well, they run a line.
It's used several times, and when you...
They make a stamp. So what they would do, see this, I'll show you. See the back of this thing is an X? They take a hot ball of steel that's red hot. They set it on top of the die. And then they drop the hammer from the drop hammer, and the X sticks onto the back of it. And then they pound it into the die, and you end up with this. They leave it sitting on the hammer, and then they start putting their silver stampings in there, and they start stamping. They strike hundreds of stampings, and then at the end of the day, when they're done with that die, they take the die out, then they take a chisel and they knock this thing off, and they throw it away.
And so these are disposable.
These
They're
are
reusable.
disposable.
It's
And
nothing but just a heated up ball bearing.
Yeah, it's not even a ball bearing. It's just mild steel for the most part. And they would just use it as a force. So what you see, like you see these on eBay sometimes, and you guys pay, I've watched people pay hundreds of dollars for these things. Me included. I've done it. And then think they have a hub that they can make a good die from, and they really don't. All you have is a force. And a lot of times the forces aren't very good. These are pretty nice. I don't think these were ever used. I think these were made as backups. Some of this stuff was, the reason it probably came to us is it was made as a backup if they broke the die. Because they probably didn't ever have a master. They probably just had the die and they got it from somebody. So they decided to make a copy. You know, just something in case the worst happened. Like these are all forces. So when you see these online for sale, don't pay a fortune for them unless it is something unbelievable. And I did it. I bought one and I paid hundreds of dollars, and it's unbelievable. And I was able to make a die from it, but I haven't raised a new hub from it yet. But it's spectacular. It's truly one of my favorites. Let's see what else they have that's cool.
I love these.
Yeah, these are neat. These are neat. We got the male and female. So these are fairly, these are 19, well, there it is, 1919. I'd imagine that is the date, not the catalog number. They did date a lot of them. So that's kind of cool.
If only they signed them. Like the
French. If only they signed them.
Like the French did.
Yeah, nobody signed them. Like, look at this. This is a whole test plate. They ran a whole bunch of test plates into this. So it's like modern shot die.
The forces can be used with silver clay, though, right? Like a little stamp impression to get the clay, or
well, not really.
Like a little stamp to get the male. Yeah.
So you're going to end up with a female impression. It's going to look weird because what you're trying, it's not the right direction. Not going the right direction. Because I've seen a lot of people buying these things and they think they're going to put them in clay, and then you end up with, you're getting a negative.
And so you can't make a positive out of it.
Right, you won't be able to make a positive. If you made a rubber mold off of it and then press clay into the rubber mold, yeah. But a lot of times the forces are kind of crude, and then by the time you mold it and then press clay in it and then cook it, you end up with something that doesn't look at all like what it originally looked like. You know, that's nuts. Yeah, this is kind of goofy. Look at this thing. That's even too frilly for me. Yeah. Well, let's. Oh, we've already been in this drawer. Let's go up the drawer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So they made these companies. They would also make all your union pins. So this is like a massive collection of union pins.
This one's my favorite.
Which one is it?
This is the United Mine Workers of America. This is from their fight for the 8-hour day in 1898, with John L. Lewis headed that whole thing, and it was a massive, massive
Your
fight.
great-great-grandfather was in that.
No, he was in the Western Federation.
Oh, okay.
You can see it's a slightly more square shape.
This is strange, like that it would be here in Foster and Bailey. It's a complete knockoff of an Alling and Company. Knocking people off was not something that was recently invented. This is a knockoff of Alling and Company. I have the originals of the Alling and Company, but this came in with Foster and Bailey. So these guys were basically, here's the, that one's pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then, of course, we have our proverbial collection of... It's hard to know. These might be presidents. It's hard to tell sometimes.
We have so many just old white dudes.
Yeah. It must have been a thing to have your... Oh, look at this. Calvin Coolidge. I did a history paper on him when I was in elementary school. And basically, the history books were not kind to Calvin Coolidge. He was pretty much a placeholder. He didn't accomplish much. So here we have his commemorative. What else we got here? Oh, this is pretty. Look at that one. Looks almost like the Lady Liberty pop-out.
Oh, yeah.
That's really nice. But yeah, you can kind of see... Look at this thing. Does that scream Art Deco or what?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes. This one's wild.
Yeah, I don't know why that's here. It looks Aztec or Mayan, and it's fairly modern. This isn't old. I mean, it's probably old, but not like ancient. It's not an antique. This was done with an EDM machine. You can see the ridge, the way they burned it in. Very interesting. Came with it, though. That's probably from Lorac. Because Foster and Bailey got absorbed by Lorac. And, well, when I say absorbed, they were probably bought at auction for pennies. And when Lorac closed last year, well, now we have Lorac. So here's a T-shank. These are all T-shanks. Look at this one. Whole ring. Here's another style of ring. Way to do it. So you can see all the different methods they came up with. Very neat. These are truly a pain in the ass.
Oh, God.
Sinking this stuff.
I hate this.
Yeah, it's really, really... It makes you pucker. I really am no fan of sinking those hubs. Here's another T-shank. I know why they made them. It's progress, but my God, is it stressful. Oh yeah, here's a whole bunch. Look at these. I didn't even know we had all these.
T-shakes are his favorite.
Yeah, they're my new fave. This came in with this collection. Look at this. I remember these coming in.
Yep.
These are old. This is...
Yeah.
This was driven in with like a drop hammer. They would hammer these things in. That's...
Yeah. Like I was saying,
nuts.
that's a European style of...
Yeah. I have... Oh, here's a whole drawer full. Look at them.
Amazing.
Look at these. Can you imagine? I can't. I haven't had the nerve to try this yet. but they were driving hubs. I've seen the finished die sets in some of these. They're,
Yeah, Weight Thresher has a handful of them.
yeah, we have a few of them. They're early stuff. Yeah, these are, I love the idea because it makes it easy to round it up. Because those of you who've actually tried to round some of these others up, it's a bear. It is no fun. Look at the bad rust on this. So this is what happens to them. Look at that heavy pitting. Just ate this thing up. But the face of it's fine. It's still fine. But yeah. A lot of times they would be in wooden cabinets and the wood would get all wet and soaked with water because they'd be in the basement, and the basements of these factories would flood, and then you'd have just a train wreck of all these hubs getting rusty. These are kind of cool. They're still stuck in Cosmoline, which is really nice. I don't know what they are. I have a ton of them. I was offered more of them, but I just resisted. I was like, I don't need more of these.
Can you do a video on rounding out?
Yeah, I've done a couple. I put them in, I use the press, and I use a hard piece, I use wood on the end grain sometimes, and I also use a piece of hard plastic, like nylon, that I carved out a little dish into, so that the nylon won't hurt the ring, but it will allow you to round it up. I have, let me show you what they used to use. They used to use this, it's like this red material. Where is some of it? Here's a piece. I don't know what this is. Maybe it's a hard rubber or wood. Lignum vitae maybe, I'm not real sure. But this is how they would form up the rings. Or brass. They'd make a forming die, but they would use this stuff. We have a whole bunch of it. This stuff's really hard. I think it's just a hard rubber. I think this stuff is just dried out. But, yeah. It's that stuff. And you press into it using the, I use a bracelet former frame with a ring bending die on it. And I just start bending it. You've got to anneal a lot. I mean, a ridiculous amount of annealing is involved in this. Don't think you're gonna get it in one shot. You're gonna anneal 3 or 4 times when you're rounding up. Look at this poor thing. This is criminal. Let's see if I can find this. Nope, that's not it. We gotta find the barbarians. I'm serious. Savages. This stuff would be just mixed up, not sorted. So it's really, really hard to find the right piercing tool to go with the right die set. A lot of it just comes in all messed up. So yeah, here's a force for a ring. For bending it up. Yeah, it's sometimes, you know, the latest, like, oh, this is pretty good. Look at this. Nope. Yep. There it is. That's why it's in the same drawer. So it's a big men's ring. Yeah, we got really lucky with this last collection from Weight Thresher. They came all separated, so everything was where it was supposed to be. It was all rusty, but things were not just scattered to the wind.
It's a lot of Weight Threshers in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you can see many of the totes are in together and have the blanking die that goes with.
Yeah, so here's your blanking tool. All your tools to make the entire piece are there, which is very nice.
Yes.
And here's your die.
Questions about offering men's rings?
Oh, you want men's rings? Sure, we can do it. They're a little problematic because they're so massive that it's difficult for you guys to run them. I mean, I can make them, but whether or not you guys can stamp them and do them is a whole nother question. So I don't like to sell things that you're just not going to be able to use. If you ever wondered, this is how they do it nowadays.
I always wondered how they cut those T-shanks. Piercing dies make total sense. Can you make those available with the T-shank?
Oh, no. This is literally what put these companies out of business.
Every single one of those piercing dies takes...
Well,
you need a screw press. You need terrifying accuracy.
So imagine us hand filing individual punches and then making a side that matches. To think that these were left out in the just to rust is horrible. But yeah, these are this is literally, I'm not kidding, this is what put these companies out of business, is this type of work. Come on over, let's show them what we did. So yesterday, I wish I still had them set up in the presses.
Yeah.
I took them down.
And also we need to move the vibratory finisher.
Yeah, I stamped a bunch the other day. Where did it go? Here it is. So I went through and I did the whole process. It's let me find some of my stampings. So I did a bunch of silver stampings here, and I blanked out some copper, just doing the setup. Oh yeah, that would have been terrible to lose that, because these are all of the tools. So to make you guys a complete set, this is what it would take. Let's as you can see, we're running out of room. So here's how the complete, here's a silver one. So you start off with what is called the blanking tool, which is this one. This is your first step right here. Then, where did we put the actual die? It was out. I was using it. Is it in the drop hammer?
I have no idea.
Yeah. It was sucked into the void. This is the problem. This is just absolutely super difficult to keep track of everything. Anyway, you have the impression die. Then you have the trimming die, which is this one, which cuts your prongs in. Then you have your piercing die, which punches out the sides, the gallery work. And then you do that twice. You flip it. Then you have the one that does the prongs, which is another, here it is. This one does the prongs. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, and then the forming step where you form it. So there's 6 steps to make the ring. So that's 6 different machines set up. You can see where I started setting up to do the piercing. It's really difficult to get everything to line up perfectly. So we did the initial piercing, and then there's still more piercing to go. And yeah. So my hopes of producing pierced pieces is pretty much, that's a no-go. If you guys want to pierce, I'm going to make stampings, but there'll be a blank like this, and it'll be formed. So we'll run it through the forming operation, this operation here, which will give it the shape. So you get 2 of these and you solder them together, and then you can pierce them out if you want to. But as far as us piercing them, it's a no-go. I don't think we could, I couldn't do it on any sort of level, you know, especially not in silver. I'm going to do some platinum ones, so if you guys want a platinum ring, absolutely. But setting them up to do them in silver, the time is just, I had probably almost an hour in producing a single ring, which isn't bad, really, but it's bad if you have to buy it from me. You know, a stamping, it's bad if it's in silver, but if it's just in platinum, then it's not too bad, you know, because we have to be able to pay our bills, so I can't charge $5 an hour. You know, because these machines don't run themselves. This kind of tooling was designed to be run manually. It's done in a machine like this. It wasn't done in an automatic machine. So let's go put these. Check these out. So we got. I keep all my favorites out here. Those are great ones. Those are all men's rings. But yeah, the piercing tools, that's literally when I was talking to some of the old owners of some of these companies when we would pick it up, and I was very interested in these Art Deco rings. That is like something that most goldsmiths still lust after. When they, like, we have goldsmiths who come over during the gem show specifically to learn how to do that, and I show them, and I've had a couple people who are like, they got all the money in the world and they're ready to do it, and then they see it and they go, this is the actual response, oh hell no, this is crazy. You know, and it makes sense for us to make one or two pieces for the heck of it.
Keep it so that somebody knows how to do it.
Right, but and to show people how it was done, but to produce them for money, I don't know. I don't see how I could do it, honestly. I really don't, because I know those guys tried. They tried. They gave it. They tried in earnest, and they failed. The labor costs just go bananas. So simpler rings are probably more in the cards. It was probably something better for most people to focus on. Stuff like this is great. Look at this. Strike it flat, bend it up, and you got a nice ring with laurel leaves. I think those are laurel leaves. And
doesn't Hugo make them that way?
I love his stuff. It's really cool. He makes really nice stuff, honestly, and he's doing what he can to keep the process alive.
I love this one.
Yeah. Anyway, we should wrap it up, but we just figured we'd show you guys what we're repatriating the population.
Yes.
Anyway, take it easy, guys.